Examples include OS Maps, Google Maps, and this map of all the motorways in Rutland. If all maps have north as up, we accidentally give places in the north a sense of importance and goodness,
while places in the south might be viewed with a form of second bestness. This applies not just to maps of the world, where Africa and South America are buried at the bottom of the page, and your thoughts, but to maps of London, which, for a chippy South London dweller like me, immediately explains the unbearable snobbery of North London dwellers like Jay.
You don't have the tube.
It's because of the rock type.
Look at this map of Britain. Until you looked at it upside down, did you notice quite how far Cornwall was from London? Or that Edinburgh was west of Manchester?
Wonky maps can be a good way for city planners to spot areas that need attention, or missing transport links. On August the 16th, 1858, Queen Victoria sent the very first transatlantic text message, reading,
"Glory to God in the highest, on earth peace and goodwill toward men."
And it was sent to President James Buchanan. At just 2 minutes per letter, the message was received in little over 17 hours. The cable stopped working after just a few weeks, but it didn't matter. In 2022, the Shetland Islands became even more remote when their key cable was shredded by an overzealous fishing boat.
I'll tell you who the killer was. It was...
Duncan must be home.
So the internet, just like the real world, was now divided into countries, and that didn't cause any problems at all. John Postel had just split the planet up into codes and immediately ran into a problem. This country.
The existing code from the ISO list was GB, but Britain already had its own academic network, called Janet, which used .UK.
So, to save faff, he let Britain keep its non-ISO code .UK, which was very sensible because GB stands for Great Britain and excludes Northern Ireland, and UK doesn't.
Incidentally, it took the driving in another country stickers people several decades to catch up.
In 1683, Admiral William Cowley, on a ship called the Bachelor's Delight, was just off the coast of South America when he discovered so-called Pig's Island. Cowley was delighted with the find and wrote at length about his great discovery. The island has a pleasant aspect. There are a large number of birds. We killed them and used them needed for food. They were quite tasty. Pig's Island appeared on 110 maps over the following century, despite no one but Cowley ever catching a glimpse of it. Many sailors tried to find Pig's Island, including Captain Cook, but no one ever managed it. In the 19th century, historians looked at Cowley's extensive descriptions and sketches of Pig's Island and noticed that they had a striking similarity with the Falklands, 280 miles further south. Cowley had been in the Falkland Islands all along, and Pig's was finally cooked. In 1821, Captain William Elliot spotted an island with high mountainous land between Australia and South America. He named it Emerald Island. So, if there was nothing there, then what not on earth was he looking at? Because he was in such a cold part of the world, Elliot had likely fallen victim to a special kind of mirage. Normally, things like this pack of sea ice, which is straight ahead, appear to be straight ahead. But when a temperature inversion occurs, with cold air on top of hot air, a duct can form which distorts the light's path, meaning this pack of sea ice now appears to be high in mountainous land, which is precisely what Elliot said he saw. These mirages are known as Fata Morganas, and as these terrifying pictures of floating boats prove, could be very convincing. Non-existent Emerald Islands featured boldly on maps for almost 100 years, partly because nobody could be bothered to sail all the way back here just to check. Our favourite completely fictional island that clumsily sleepwalks its way on the factual maps is this mythical one, supposedly found off the Atlantic off the west coast of Ireland, called Crusoe. What? Not to be confused with Brazil, which is also found in the Atlantic off the west coast of Ireland. The two are in no way related, and the same misadventures is a complete coincidence. Brazil, as it's probably pronounced, is an enchanted island from Irish folklore, which, as legend has it, is forever cloaked in mist, but can be seen for just one day every 7 years, like that ITV documentary about those children returning to adults. It first turned up on its quarterly chart of 1325, when inaccuracies were reasonably expected hazard of cartography, and distinguishing myth from reality was a low priority. Once Brazil got that one, made the jump from fairy tale to map, it was only a matter of time before another mapmaker got the wrong end of the stick and stuck it on their map because they were too lazy to do their own research. And that's exactly what happened in 1375, when Brazil, not that one, turned up on the Catalan atlas, and now that it was on 2 maps, that was as good as a fact for all future cartographers, and it only snowballed from there.
Ever again, ever. The perceived officialness of this number creates an opportunity for record collectors with too much time on their hands, such as Graham Hughes, who in 2012 became the first person to visit every single one.
And he did it without taking a single flight.
Bye, Mum. I'll see you in just over 4 years.
So that's the answer. Thanks for watching. The end. Goodbye.
Hang on, I've just realised we can't use the UN's list.
Why is that?
Because a country that indisputably exists and is very important to me is missing.
12 seconds later.
England,
Oh dear. And Scotland.
who need permission from Rishi Sunak.
So that's why the UK is a member of the UN, but the 4 countries that make it up, England, Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland, are not.
I know that, but the only available word for what England is country. If our list is going to include every country in the world, it simply has to be included.
It's not sovereign.
It's got an emoji flag.
Yeah, fair enough. UK countries uncombined, 199. But now we've opened a massive can of worms. If we decide to count country-like places that don't have their own sovereignty, we have to include Crown dependencies, overseas territories, constituent countries, autonomous regions, specialist municipalities and free associations join the crew. 282.
Just off the coast of Suffolk is this tiny disused naval fort, which is technically an independent country.
When it was abandoned after World War II, it was in international waters, which meant it was technically up for grabs.
In 1967, fisherman Roy Bates turned up, intending to start a pirate radio station.
You're listening to CFM, playing you the very best in pop, rock, and country.
But quickly decided instead to declare the fort an independent country that he was prince of,
There's a thought.
and named it Sealand.
Sealand still declares itself an independent country today, under Prince Michael Bates, who keeps his dad's dream afloat by selling titles and passports to documentary presenter after documentary presenter after documentary presenter. Can I still wave my flag?
You can do what you want.
Hooray!